defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
Appreciate that, Ian. Right, as the man just said there, the Arsenal legend himself said it best. People deluded, I'm back again. Again, forgive me for any background noise. Again, people, appreciative to all of you lot tuned in. Smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notification bells if you haven't. And don't forget to have any comments ready throughout the course of this video, either when the video premieres or in the comment section after. You lot have been really going hard with hitting the like buttons and commenting on all my videos. Appreciate that. And check out the tactical vids. Now, we've been linked with Lavia, so indirectly, you know, what Lavia does, whether he goes to Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, whatever, I'm going to look at it really. I personally think Lavia is a player Arsenal admire. If there's a deal to be done, we might do it. I do think we need a midfielder and another addition in the middle of the park. I think we're a bit light. I think while Granit Xhaka is a player that long-term the system needed to move away from its reliance on him, Granit Xhaka, at least in the first 6 to 12 months, we are going to miss him. And on paper, I do miss him. I think Declan Rice, Partey, Odegaard has to be the first choice option if we're playing in the Premier League tomorrow, which we're not. Long term, clearly Arteta is trying to do, you know, Declan Rice as a lone 6 at some point, and Havertz or Smith Rowe or someone else along with Odegaard as rotating 8s. And as you saw against the Man United game, that's going to take some time for those players collectively and individually to gel. Lavia got a decent grounding of foundation, really, after spending one season at Southampton. Liverpool have had a £37 million transfer offer for Lavia rejected. That is their first offer, and it is just below what they're asking for Southampton in 50 million quid. So there might be a resolution to be done. I do agree with Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever wants Lavia, if they're sitting there saying, hang on a minute, Southampton, you lot got relegated. You've had him for half a season, well, a full season at that, really. You're kind of taking the mick a bit, considering you're going to make a handsome profit. But as we know, this is the market, people. For what it's worth, allegedly, David Ornstein has said Southampton have rejected a £37 million offer for Lavia from Liverpool. Allegedly, personal terms for a proposed move to Anfield will not be an issue. So that tells you Liverpool have to have been speaking with his agent to see a framework of a deal, the length of contract, the wages, etc. We know he's a target for Liverpool. A bunch of players have left the club, and there's rumours around Fabinho and Henderson departing as well. So we'll have to watch that one day closely. Once again, he has been linked with Chelsea, and they approached him and Southampton last September, people. That didn't happen. Romano has also weighed in. He has said, understand Liverpool have approached Southampton for Lavia. Talks on the player side have been ongoing for more than 1 month. Jason Wilcox is leading talks for now for Southampton and insists on a 50 million transfer package. Again, Lavia remains one of the top candidates on Liverpool's list. If they get him, Szoboszlai and McAllister, they'll all need time to adapt individually and collectively to what Klopp wants, but that is probably a somewhat midfield rebuild that Liverpool fans have been hoping would happen. He's followed up that tweet and said Southampton have been clear during direct contacts with Liverpool today for Lavia. They want £50 million package to make it happen. Liverpool are working on it. You know, 37 quid, you up that to about 40 odd, you make the difference with add-ons. That tells me that he will be at Anfield, really and truly. We got to remember it is only July. The longer it goes on for Southampton, the more, if you're Liverpool or Arsenal or anyone, you're probably relying on Lavia to make it be known to his current employers that he has no intention of playing Championship football. For whoever wants him, clearly, the quicker you get these players in, the better. It helps a great deal. We've already seen that with Romano. Lavia reports out of Sky Germany, Mr. Plattenberg, Florian Plattenberg has said, Lavia understands that he wants to join Liverpool. He's a top target and they've been given the green light. His price valuation, once again, is 50 odd million. And currently there's no agreement yet between the teams, but discussions, concrete negotiations are ongoing. And apparently Lavia has told Liverpool he wants to join them before the end of the transfer window, people. As we know, Cater's left, Milner's left, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's left, Henderson and Fabinho could be set to leave. So Liverpool need that. Moving away from that and getting back in with Arsenal, apparently Tierney has revealed how Zinchenko is helping him to adapt to Mikel Arteta's tactical demands. Specifically, the Flying Scotsman said, I've done it for the last year, I'm learning it. Alex is the prime example of how to do it. If you're going to learn off anyone, it would be Zinchenko. Scrolling all the way down, I've been learning off him and asking him questions, but there are so many different ways of playing. The last few games, I haven't been doing that, which tells you Arteta might be saying, you know what, with Timber on the right-hand side, we might get Tierney back in a conventional role, whether that's an indirect left-sided centre-back or a conventional, traditional sort of left-sided fullback. But credit to him, he's not moaned, he's not complained. While it's, I feel a bit with making Tini an inverted fullback, it's like asking a fish to climb a tree. But he's shown the willingness to do that, as has Tomiyasu as well, as has Kirill when he's played left back. Evidently, Zinchenko's the poster boy at Arsenal for inverted fullbacks. And with Timber and Benjamin White, we've got down the right hand side. I've been learning off him and asking him questions, but there are so many different ways of playing. The last few games, I haven't been doing that. It's all learning, and it was genuinely all new to me. I haven't played in the center of the park before. It wasn't somewhere I ventured in very often before, so it makes you a better player learning, which is true. When spoke on his future, he said, it's not really up to me. I'm happy. I'm working hard every day and getting minutes. I'm just trying to do as well as I can. You can't play every single game, every single season, every single year. That was in the Athletic. I don't expect that, and I still made a lot of appearances last season. He then said, I was ready every game and working 100%. I think everyone in there would agree with that I never give less than that, whether I'm playing or not. In the games I did play, I tried to do my best for the team. I came off the bench a lot last season, whether that was to see games out or help get a goal. I never missed one game with injury last year. I was available every game and ready when called upon, which is great, because one problem with Tierney is injuries, really. And if you've been fit, to be fair, Partey's had some knocks. He's been available for at least 33, 34 of the 38 Premier League games. It shows that maybe our medical men and women are doing a bit better. And as I always say, the best trait you could have as a footballer, especially a team like us that's aspiring to win things, is availability, really. And we're going to need a squad. I think Arsenal fans can recognize we need a squad until their best players are dropped or potentially not going to start. We have seen that. Once again, Tini has said he's happy at Arsenal, but once again, it's not up to him. He said, no, I have not had any conversations with Arteta. So we'll have to see how this develops, people, really and truly. But that's Kieran Tierney, the Flying Scotsman. Romano has said, this story has gone a little quiet in relation to Tierney, but it remains one to watch later in the window. It's quiet now, but it could change. Arsenal are not desperate to sell Tierney, but they just consider that an option if an important bid arrives. Fair play. And maybe with Tomiyasu and Kirill on the left-hand side as opposed to Zinchenko, maybe there's more of a willingness from Arsenal to maybe want to sell him. I don't know if Kessié will be playing in the Premier League. I don't think he'll sign for Arsenal, but apparently Arsenal's rivals on Thursday, Barcelona, hope to conclude a sale of him this week. Allegedly, his next club is closer to the Premier League than Italy, so I don't think his profile is one we need, but fair enough. Ryan Taylor has claimed Tottenham are more likely to sign Aston Villa midfielder Douglas Luiz than Arsenal at this stage. As you know, this time last year, we was gearing up to try and tempt him to the club, people. I think Tottenham will probably be the more likely suitors for him, but because at the moment, I don't visualize Arsenal having the kind of money to hand that Villa would require, and obviously Højbjerg is probably going to head to Atletico Madrid as well. Respectfully to Mr. Taylor, everybody says this. Nobody knows how much Arsenal have or don't have, whether incomings are more incomings, additional incomings to Arsenal, or, rely on outgoings. We don't know. Really, I just think Arsenal won't pay what Douglas Luiz current employers think he's worth. He would be decent for the squad, but I think we've moved on a bit from him, if I'm honest with you. But again, if you're Douglas Luiz, do you trade Villa for Tottenham now? I don't think that's a clear upgrade, if that's the right word. I think Villa are certainly going to be better, if not competing with Spurs next season. They're at two different periods. Spurs need to go back to basics. Unai Emery and Aston Villa, you've got a World Cup winning goalkeeper who's been linked with Inter Milan in Martinez, just brought in Diaby, got Telemans, been linked with João Felix. Aston Villa have defo signed somebody else that's wavy, that took people by surprise. Spurs, you don't know if Kane's going to be there. You don't know if they're going to sign centre halves. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm biased. I'm never going to talk up Tottenham hotshot, but you get the point. But it doesn't. I feel Douglas Luiz is clearly a player Arsenal admire, and he must have featured on some potential list. But that's a central midfielder that, in my opinion, won't be joining Arsenal. One who could be leaving, Romano has said on Charlie Patino, my understanding is that Arsenal are receiving loan bids for Charlie Patino, but the player prefers a permanent move, and it would include a buyback clause for Arsenal, of course. At the moment, there's still nothing advanced or close to being completed. I think it would be a very smart option on the market for a number of clubs, to be honest. So let's see who ends up moving for him. And I mean, when you look at his name, he seems to be primarily linked with teams in Germany and Italy, people. Charles Watts has said on Patino, sorry, people, mine went black there. We've been all kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with Patino this summer. Again, he didn't fly off to America. Neither did Miguel Aziz and a number of under 21s. It was kind of revealed earlier on towards the end of last season that Arsenal were probably going to let him go on a permanent transfer. Things are sort of going on with Charlie at the moment. I've been talking to some people around the club on him. As far as I'm aware, all options are open when it comes to Patino, and that includes a loan now. Whereas not long ago, it looked like it was probably going to be a permanent deal for Charlie. According to people that I've spoken to at the club, there is all options on the table. It could be a permanent, but it could be a loan for Charlie. Things are things are sort of beginning to move for him. So watch this space with Charlie Patino and his future. As you know, he'll have 1 year left on his deal from next year, people, contracted until 2025. So we'll have to see what's happening with him, Miguel Aziz, Port Norton Coffee, Austin Trusty, who we brought in from America, and so on and so forth. Ben Jacobs has been speaking about Kudus, people, and the possibility of Arsenal signing him. There's quite a few things here. Apparently, Arsenal made contact over signing him, and you could imagine his name indirectly must have been thrown in conversation when we was negotiating the Timber deal. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed so far. Chelsea have registered their interest in Ajax midfielder Mohammed Kudus and are even close to agreeing personal terms, but no offer has been placed yet. Kudus is one of a number of attacking options, including Celta Vigo's Gabby Vega. He's appreciated because he can play centrally or out wide and scored 18 goals and got 7 assists in all comps last season. He's contracted until 2025 and is keen to leave, and has already allegedly, as far back in April, has rejected a contract offer. The Arsenal interest is genuine as well, although they won't move prior to outgoings. They made contact a couple weeks ago. Brighton are also in the race. Kudus is going to cost about 40 million. I think if Chelsea sell Gallagher, they'll move quickly for an attacking-minded midfielder. West Ham have seen a bid rejected for Gallagher of around 40 million. He's got plenty of minutes in pre-season under Pochettino, but Chelsea will sell if the price is right. I mean, that would be a good signing for West Ham if they got Gallagher and James Ward-Prowse to somewhat try and replace Declan Rice, who's joined Arsenal. I mean, I like Kudus. I think he's young. I think he's shown a willingness to, contribute in the final third with goals and assists. I think there's, he's shown on the highest platform in the World Cup that he's got quality. He can play a bunch of systems and a bunch of roles. Obviously, he's a talented player at Ajax. He's 22 years of age. He could provide depth/competition for Saka on the right-hand side and be utilized anywhere that Arteta deems. So I'd love him. I don't know where we're at with that one there, people. Once again, Chelsea are close to agreeing terms with Kudus. So personal terms are one step, agreeing something with Ajax is another. And once again, this article has said Arsenal kind of need to sell before they can buy. Personally, I don't think Arsenal need to sell before they can buy, in that we don't have money. We can't sell. We can't buy until we sell. I think it's a thing where Arsenal said, you know what? Our 3 priority targets with Timber, Kai Havertz and Declan Rice, we've got them in. They're gelling. Let's take a moment. Let's breathe. Let's pat ourselves on the back for achieving what we did so far. Arteta work with them. Let's take a couple seconds to breathe. And now let's just focus a bit on outgoings before we focus on incomings again. Where Lavia, Kudus and these players are concerned, if Arsenal are slacking behind, then these players end up elsewhere. It is what it is in that regard. So we'll have to see. But the interest in Kudus is alleged genuine. You go back around the December period and there was an athletic article about it. Man said Atletico. Man United could join the race. Obviously, Ten Hag knows all about the Dutch and Ajax talents, people. So yeah, in relation to the Ghanaian international Kudus, who knows? But Chelsea and Arsenal could be rivaled by Manchester United, people, if they're unsuccessful in their pursuit of Ramesh Højlund. I mean, Kudus can play up front. Wouldn't say that's his best position, but who knows, people. So Man United's name has been thrown in, which is a benefit to Ajax, because if everybody's fighting, much less the British, who have a lot of money, in comparison to the other members of the top 5 leagues, so Spain, France, Italy, Holland and so on and so forth. If I've missed names out, I'm not too sure, but we'll have to see. Really, it seems like the calm before the storm for a lot of clubs. Balogun, who's at the club and future is subject to speculation, allegedly has an injury and such has actually trained separately from the Arsenal squad during yesterday's training session in LA. I don't know if that means he will or won't be part of the game, the squad to play the game against Barcelona. Allegedly, we're looking for 50 million if we are to sell him, people. So we'll have to see how that develops. And apparently, Chris Wheatley has said we're to receive a bid for Balogun. Well, judging by Arteta's comments after recent friendly matches, he's going to take a look at Balogun before making any final decision on his future. Personally, I think Arteta has already made his decision on maybe not Balogun long term, but Balogun this season, and I don't think it's at the Arsenal Football Club. I do think there's an air of maybe being surprised in pre-season. I do think he'd want to keep him and loan him out in an ideal world, but because of his contract, because he's made it clear he doesn't want to leave on loan, and maybe he doesn't deem that he's quite ready as much as he's set Liga alight, I think the writing's kind of on the wall, really. But I'd love to be wrong. Now, we know Balogun had an amazing season out in France last season, and because of that, he's attracting a lot of interest. That interest is coming from some big clubs as well. Inter in Italy are really interested in signing him. The only issue there that I can see is the finances that they're currently weighing up that they're going to offer Arsenal is not exactly what Arsenal are looking for. I don't think we're going to get a £50 million from him for Balogun for from a club abroad, really. But maybe we'll negotiate for 40, and maybe the 10 million made up in add-ons. Maybe there's something to do with that, people. Now, the first bid that they are looking to prepare is a loan deal, but it's going to be a loan deal with an obligation to buy. So we expect a 5 million euros fee with an obligation to buy for 35 million, which 5 million equates to 4.3 million pounds, and 35 million euros is 30 million quid, says this article. Now, that is not really a lot of money when you consider that what Balogun did in France last season. So we'll have to see. But from a homegrown product that might not be ready, might not be in Arteta's plans, and has probably played about 10 games for Arsenal Football Club, there'd be something there. Declan Rice apparently is eyeing up the Premier League trophy. Big him up, people. When I signed, I was speaking to the manager and we were stood there looking out from the box. It was surreal. What a stadium. And we're very lucky to play our home football there. Last year, that place was crazy with the atmosphere and the fans. Some of the games, hopefully this year, we can go one better and excite the fans even more. He then spoke about the first time he saw Saka playing for England's under-17s people or under-18s at St. George's Park as a left-sided fullback. So yeah, big up Declan Rice, our new recruit. Who is this? This is in relation to the Croatian midfielder Butcherina. Forgive me for my mispronunciation. Give Me Sport have said, yeah, obviously I reported that last week, but at the same time, from what I understand, it's not a transfer that's going to be imminent, so I wouldn't expect that to happen this summer. It's just a player that caught their eye when they were watching Josip Solato for Dynamo Zagreb last year. He was one of the potential alternatives to Timber. Coincidentally, Ajax are actually looking at Solato to replace Timber, so he's a player of real quality. We'll have to see how that's regarded, people, but that was Ryan Taylor on behalf of Give Me Sports / The Evening Standard. Italian journalist Rudy Galletti has said we're still eyeing up Lavia, people. So you have to see where we're at with that. We were linked early in the summer with Gonyanto. He could be going to Everton, as reports here. They're in talks to sign him. That's a good signing for Everton. And apparently Chelsea and City are the front runners for Crystal Palace's Elise, people. So we'll have to see. If he really does have a £35 million release clause, then you've got to bring him or Kudus to the carpet. We've had an offer rejected for Mbappe, which we knew that wasn't going to bang, really. You know, it's Real Madrid or bust. Adrian Blake, who's a talented player, we saw him in the FA Youth Cup against Arsenal en route to our final. He has said he's actually signed for Utrecht now on a free transfer. He said there was interest in me from the Premier League, but I would not get any opportunities in a first team there. I will get them at Utrecht. I hope to play for Arsenal one day. I know Dennis Bergkamp. Of course, he was a fantastic player. Everyone remembers that goal against Newcastle United. I think he's a very talented young player. So I wish you all the best for your development, and hopefully your dreams become a reality if you're good enough. Ben Jacobs has said Chelsea have registered their interest in Kudus and are even close to agreeing personal terms, but no offer has been placed yet. The Arsenal interest is genuine as well, although they won't move prior to outgoings. They made contact a couple of weeks ago, people. And this is just me. Finally, I'm braced to see Arsenal once again full circle linked with Ferran Torres once again. Barcelona allegedly want to offload him on a permanent sale or a 2-year loan. And, you know, he's worked with Mikel Arteta before. He can play across the front four. So a bit like Elise, he is fairly versatile, and Kudus. So, yeah. I'm braced to kind of see Arsenal links with him. I don't know if there's any credibility, but apparently Locatelli's on the market, people, from Juventus, and that was a player we tried to sign, which Juventus beat us to it. So I firmly expect to see us linked with Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Locatelli again. As we know, 99.9% of these rumors are BS, but we'll have to see. Until players are holding shirts, who knows? Let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed, people. As usual, appreciative to all of you lot tuned in. Stay safe, stay blessed. Hope you and your loved ones stay in good health. Check out the other content. Following me on all my socials. Information's in the description. One love.
Always that active and defending.
I think it's like